Hello, hello. Sorry about the technical issues, and welcome to the Amethyst Racing next round Tier 2 at Hungary. Okay, so as we now begin our short qualifying session, we currently have Lightning spectating on his outlap. We will bring up our tyre and track map. So we'll go on board with Will Lightning for the moment. Bit wide through turn 1, it's not going to help his lap time too much, but it'll open up the DRS and run down for the next corner. Nicely through there, early on the throttle, cuts it as much as he can. Sizing up a good lap at the moment. Goes does a purple first sector, which is good for him, but that might be an invalidation. He just manages to keep it out the wall. Keeps going. Got a yellow flag in sector 1. Sector 2, sorry. Someone maybe an off or just slowing down. Side wing, I am not sure who that is, and Ferrari has gone on to provisional pole with 16.696. Joe Kuhn sliding in behind in second. Vajrana straight in behind him. Lightning is going to encounter a small bit of traffic here. But 90 through sector 3. As he rounds and gets the DRS onto it. He's going to open it up, and it's going to be P3 on the grid for now with a 16.84. We shall find another driver. Sam Palmer going very wide into the first turn, but he has set a lap of 17.1. That's not very representative. Vajrana and I believe that's Kulok's cop in the Aston Martin, doing some fairly unrepresentative laps of 123s and 26 respectively. Sebastian Servel goes to the top of the timing boards, almost 5 tenths faster than the rest of the grid with a 16.1. Zachary Kister with an 18.2. Oh, and Luke Martin losing it on the approach to what I believe is turn 5. That's not going to do those set of tyres any good. Still plenty of time in the session though. I believe we've got 13 minutes to go. Kister on another lap in the Red Bull. He's a 10th up through the first sector at the moment. Conservative through that chicane, you want to attack it with as much speed as possible. Nicely through there, hits the apex, misses it there. But now it's a straight run. You want a small lift through this corner. Wants to take more curb than that. Jack King, 135 and 13th. That's not going to be a representative lap at all. So far, if we take a look at the tyres, I think everyone opts in for the softs apart from Keikoze and Xenius. Xenius has been a favourite here to go with the ultimate strategy on his mediums. Often manages to get it into the top 10. So, I mean, he does have pace. Kister improves, does a 17.7, but I think he'll want to go even faster. As you follow, I believe, an Amethyst debut, Zed Dogar, I hope I pronounced that right, is heading through sector 2 now. A small lift through there isn't what he wants. Done 55.1 in the second sector. It's a tricky final sector to get right. He's done alright through there. Small bit of understeer on the way into that corner. But it'll open up the DRS and it's going to be 116.9, so it puts him into P6 for the moment. Further down the grid, we have Xenius on that medium tyre going for the ultimate strategy once again. We'll see where he tries and place himself. He gets a massive snap of oversteer on that corner exit, so we'll have to wonder where this lap time's going to put him. He might have enough fuel to go again. So far it's a 17-1. I'm sure he's got a couple of tenths in that, considering the overstake he had in the final sector. He'll be looking to improve. Further down, Jack King and Jonathan Hannestad have done a few slow outlaps, maybe to get a feel of the grip on the track. But I'm sure they'll be out and doing something a lot faster, maybe a spin on their laps. Caused a bit of trouble. Xenius lets his team principal Kiss to go ahead, but lets him back through. So far, Zerveld still holds provisional pole with 10 minutes left on the board with a 16-1. Aston Martin's Cop is in second with a 16-3. We've got a few people on lap at the moment, so we'll head down to Kister, who I don't think is pushing very hard. Xenius appearing there with a bit of lag. Jack King down in 16th, hasn't set a very representative lap time right now, so we will wait to see what he can do. He's on an outlap currently. Jonathan Hannestad looked to have started a lap, but seems to have bailed out of it very quickly. Side wing, I'm told, is the Haas reserve of Vasiliev, is about to come across the line. Puts himself into P3 with a 16.49. He'll want to improve on that. Hannestad is going slowly. We have Martin Noble is currently on lap as well. He's found a bit of time through the second sector, about 300 up on his time. Patrick Kiddiel going to the top of the timing board with a 15.7. That puts him 4 tenths clear of Zerveld, his Haas teammate. So far it's a Haas 1-2. Martin Noble finds a 10th and a half on his lap, puts him into P10. His teammate Will Lightning up in 7th, about 2 tenths further up. Patrick Kiddiel, however, into P1. Joseph Kuhn is on a slow lap for the moment. Maybe waiting for his teammate Kopp to come through, maybe try and give him a small slipstream where he can, but he seems a bit too far ahead for that to happen. Ooh. Sorry about that. We'll bring this back up if my game decides to work, which it doesn't. There we go. Sorry about that. So the Aston Martin of Kopp goes into P2 with a 16.0, puts himself a couple of hundredths ahead. Kulok's Sam Palmer has been disqualified from the session, parked in a dangerous place. Not too sure what that's about. He looks like he's parked himself on the edge of turn 5, maybe waiting for drivers to go past. That seems like it might have been an unfair disqualification, so that's going to put him at the back of the grid in P18. He's not going to be happy with that. That's his car stranded on the side there as the Aston Martin of Kopp goes past him. Rene Kopp, I believe he's down on his time about 2 seconds through that middle sector, so we'll move on to Zerveld, who's just started a brand new lap. We'll see how this pans out. I'll leave you on board with him for this lap to see what he can do. We'll have an audio lap. Double is up through that middle sector. Let's see what he can do as he comes into the final sector. Can he dislodge his teammate who is in first? But no, he's invalidated as he comes into the pit lane. Has he got enough time to go out for another lap, or is he reserved? Yes, he does. He's got about 6 minutes. Jack King is improved up to a 16.5. That's not surprising. He's one of our championship contenders at the moment, right up there in the standings. Hannestad has also improved. Those two set fairly unrepresentative laps earlier in the session. Two of them are split by only a couple of hundredths of a second. So we'll watch Jack King on board with this lap. He seems to be pushing. He goes a bit wide there. That's not going to help his lap time at all. Goes wide there as well. Luckily doesn't invalidate, but he is 6/10 off his time and does invalidate there with a massive cut across the apex. Hopefully he'll have another set of tyres to have a last stab at. Doesn't look like he's going to have enough fuel. Hannestad 5/10 of his time as well. William Lightning has just improved to a 16.4, so we'll see if he decides to go for another one. He does. We'll ride on board with him this lap. He is currently up into P8. He's got to find a couple of tenths and he can boost himself into P5 or P4. Unfortunately, Lightning has invalidated his lap. Try and find someone else on lap. I believe this is Melicheric, not Smith. There's been a mix-up somewhere along the line, but he is down on his time as a small lock-up into the chicane, so we will try and find someone else on lap. Martin Noble's going again, and he's down to 3/10 in that middle sector, so we'll see what he can do into the final third sector and coming across the line. He'll be looking to improve his current position. Comes across the line to 16.6, so that's going to put him into 8th, just ahead of his teammate Will Lightning. Got yellow flags in sector 2, but I believe that's just a Mercedes waiting for a couple other drivers past you. Hannestad, I don't know if this is right, has been going very slowly around the track for some reason, maybe low fuel, but he's 16 seconds down on his time. So the drivers are coming out for their final flying laps at the current moment. Martin Noble invalidates going across that curb a bit too wide as they're funneling out for their final laps with a couple minutes left on the clock. We have Melicheric. Jonathan Hannestad retires from the session. The crash were not able to improve. Joris Zenius goes to the top of the time board with a 15.1. That's going to put him almost 6/10 ahead of Patrick Kiziel. So he's abandoned the alternate strategy and he's gone onto the softs. He looks to have done 2 laps in a row on those tyres, warmed them up perfectly. Well, Kiziel, unfortunately, you've been thrown off from the top spot by Kiziel, so by Zenius. My apologies. So if you get back in time, you've got 2 minutes to try and set another lap, but be cutting it close. So if we watch on with Melicheric through the final corner, can he improve? There is a wheel, I believe, of Hannestad who is there. He finds a 16.7, improved by only 5 hundredths. So that's not going to do him many favours. That leaves him in P13 still. I think we have Martin Noble has just begun another lap. He looks to have a lot of traffic in front of him though. He's just slightly down on his time. He doesn't want to invalidate there again as he did last lap. He doesn't. But he does touch that inside curb and that sent him into a spin. Luckily he avoids it. If he's got enough fuel, he might just be able to get round in time to grab another flying lap. With only a minute and a half on the clock, he's going to want to get there quickly and hope those tyres aren't too destroyed from that spin. Further up, approaching fast, Jack King, looking to improve from his P9 currently, is on a flying lap. Let's see how he does for the moment. Instead, Dogar retiring from the session. I don't believe he was on lap, and so that's his reserve to P15. Not able to improve his position. He's going to have a tough fight from the back of the grid, but will have the alternate strategy available to him. Jack King runs a bit wide through there. That's going to hurt his lap time quite a lot. Bit of a train forming behind King. As he rounds the final corner, it looks to be a 17-1, so he's 6/10 off. He can go again though with 35 seconds left in the session. Will Lightning had invalidated, but did have a purple sector 1, so he's going to be aggravated with himself there. He's going to try and get to the flag as quick as possible, but I don't think there's going to be enough time with 20 seconds left. We have K. Kozov is on a lap. He was 6/10 off in that middle sector, so he's flying at the moment. As he comes across the line, opens a DRS. He actually he loses time after a stellar middle sector. So we will turn our attention to other people. Jack King is still on lap again. He's only about 300ths off his previous time in the middle sector. Qualifying is now over. So Vasiliev crosses the line. He is in the Haas. I believe he's on loan today. He improves by 600ths of a second. That puts him into 8th. Joe's Raccoon is on lap through sector 2. Is 2/10 up on his time, but has invalidated. That's unfortunate. That's going to be him in P7, unless other people around him improve. Simon Sander still looks to have just snagged in at the end of the time and is now on lap, but he is 3/10 down. Sebastian Zerveld going again. He's about 700ths down at the moment. I think he can recover that, but no, through the middle sector, he's almost a second down on his time. I think that's going to be him reserved to P4. We have the Aston Martin of Rene Kopp, I believe, running through the second sector right now. He wasn't too far off his previous time, so we'll see what he can do in his position. He wants to maybe move up from P3. Could challenge Xenius. Both of them do have pace, we've seen. Xenius, oh, he gets a snap of oversteer on the exit, and that's 3/10 down in that middle sector. We'll see what he can do to get to the line. But other than him, I think we've just got K. Kozov, who goes P6 with a 16.3. That's going to be good for him in the McLaren, the new McLaren signing. Kopp seems to have backed out, so that's going to be him reserved to P4. And as we have it today, our grid lineup is going to be Xenius, Kiziel, and Kopp. So we will have a lobby restart to apply a few grid penalties, but stick around because we'll get going for a 50% race in Hungary, hoping it doesn't rain, of course. So there we have it: Joris Xenius, Patrick Kiziel, Rene Kopp, Sebastian Zerveld, Matej Vajrina, K. Kozov, Simon Sandersill, Joe Raccoon, Vasiliev, Jack King, rounding out the top 10, followed by Jonathan Hannestad, Martin Noble, Will Lightning, Melacherik, Kister, and Sam Palmer, who was disqualified early on in the session, rounding out our qualifying session. So we will be back momentarily and we will get the main race underway. Until then, if we have anyone who would like to see a poll created, we can get that sorted. So, if you guys want to put in chat your predictions for today's winner, will Xenius take another win in Tier 2? I do know he has pace around this circuit, so we'll see what he's able to do. However, the Haas duo of Kiziel and Zerveld are both up there, I believe, in P2 and P4, so they're going to be very happy right now. They can do a lot from there. Obviously, weather is going to play into the hands of some. If it rains during this race, Hungary can be a wet one. We'll shake up the grid order. But if it isn't, those on the alternate strategy in Tier 1, we saw a few drivers starting on the hards, making their way from the back of the grid, and I think it was a new driver in the Mercedes, Appeal, who has managed to have great pace on the hards throughout the race and boxed close to the end onto the softs and ended up on the podium. So the alternate strategy can be very powerful around here. whether we all enjoyed today's Monaco race is a tough question. It was a very odd race. We did have a few stoppages, a few strange delays from the stewards, but nevertheless it was more interesting than we usually have at Monaco. So our drivers are hopping into a new lobby to apply a few grid penalties. But as I say, hop into the Discord chat and stick in your predictions for today's race winner. Could we see any charges from the back of the grid to make a change in the order? Max, the Haas team principal, saying Kizio needed the toilet and so rushed his way around the track. It seems to have worked for him, that strategy. He managed to get himself into a good position in qualifying. I believe it was P2 in the end. So that strat, unorthodox it may be, it has worked for him. However, Xenius was unstoppable in today's qualifying. He was 6.5 tenths off the rest of the grid. Kizzy was unable to get near his time of 15.1. However, the grid was fairly close throughout the rest. I believe the two Alfa Romeos of Martin Noble and William Lightning were right next to each other in P12 and P13, so we'll see how that plays out. Maybe some team orders coming into play. They don't want to tangle with each other, especially in that first turn. As we know, there can be a lot of carnage there, especially if it does happen to be wet. We saw that last year when Valtteri Bottas went bowling, taking out a lot of drivers, causing a massive red flag. Esteban Ocon got his first win there. Yep, I believe Kizio does have a penalty that's going to put him down into a P4, promoting the Haas of Zervan into third, so that's going to be a Haas P2, P3, P4, sorry. So Haas will be happy with that. The two of them can play some team games, try and stick to the back of Xenius and Rene Kopf in the Aston Martin. Don't put too much pressure on my Rene. Well, he's starting P2, so you're going to want to give him some encouragement in your team radio for engineering today, because that's going to be crucial for him. If he can get a good start, he can take Xenius. Xenius isn't on the alternate strategy today, though, so the start won't be advantaged when the softs to the mediums. But as I say, if it does decide to rain, the whole grid gets shaken up, unfortunately. And if you put in a bit of wet practice before the race, it's going to pay off big time. If not, then you're going to struggle. Right, we are preparing the final grid, and we will get started in a moment. If we want to hear a bit of team radio from anyone, please say in chat before we get started. Amadou, would you like us to have a little interview with your driver after picking up pole? Or is that something you're a bit you're worried of today? Right now we had Xenius on pole. I don't think he is in team radio, so we won't be able to grab a a snippet from him. We can talk to the Haas drivers. I believe their team principal Housley is in chat. So if you want me to hop in and you guys give us a bit of insight into your qualifying, then I'm sure that would be interesting. He's good with an out-and-out interview, Amadeus, or is he shy or focused in primarily on the race? Rowing himself up. It's a long race. It is around Hungary. 36 odd laps, I believe. 35 laps. Tyre wear can play a big game here. Those softs will wear very hard. You can only do 7 or 8 laps on them. He's in the zone. He doesn't want to be put out. Max says no pressure, Aston. Kopp is going to have 2 Hasses right on his tail, starting from P2. So I'm sure he'll be thinking of how to defend should they get a good start. But for the time being, it's not doing too badly. Housley is very pleased, I imagine, with Haas. They are taking the Constructors' Championship in Tier 2 by storm at the moment, I believe. And these consistent high, both cars' points finishing positions are going to do them wonders in the championship. Alright then, I believe we are getting ready to go. So we will shortly head over to the grid and take a look at the weather conditions. So, as we're ready into the grid, put your predictions in chat to who you think is going to take the win here today. Any surprises, anything you're going to see on the podium. I wonder if we'll see any safety cars today. We often do. But here we go as we ready into the grid. A Haas 123 with Sidewing. Sidewing is the seat, isn't he? He's been loaned out today to Ferrari. So we'll see where he can pull himself up from the grid. I believe he qualified around. I can't find him. But we will see shortly on the formation lap. Let's hope the weather is not too bad for the drivers. This track is tricky in dries. Mr. Legoropek saying Xenius is going to get a Grand Slam. You think he's going to take the win again? His pace is beyond Tier 2. It may very well be, but we'll see how it plays out today. We saw him at Spa have a dominating performance, but then under safety car did drop it. So he'll be wanting to avoid that same mistake today. Just checking, we are loading into the lobby, might be waiting somewhat. There we go, the 30-second countdown has appeared. Right. Someone has informed me that Kiziel's penalty has not been applied as of yet. Oh no, Kiziel isn't going to have the penalty. Apparently the penalty was from an old race and has already been served. But here we go. We are lining up for the formation lap. Let me know in chat if you can hear the game and if it's too loud, too quiet. But we will get ourselves ready. We will stick on position change for the start. Jonathan Hannestad already disqualified, and Rene Koff disqualified from the formation lap. The game is a bit quiet. I will attempt to fix that for you. Should be a bit better now. So Xenius needs to fill away. He's gone very far ahead though. He'll not slow down. He doesn't want to sit on the grid too long with other drivers behind him. They are supposed to maintain a 10 car length gap, so either Xenius needs to slow down, or Kizil needs to speed up, or it's going to be a bit of an issue. But Xenius is heading into the final sector. He's really going to want to wait for them. He doesn't want to sit on the grid too long. His tyres will be much worse off when he starts, but he is rounding. So I believe the game will take over from him just into this corner. Yep, there it goes. It's happened very quickly. We've got 3 drivers disqualified from the formation lap. So Simon Sanderson, Joseph Recruit, and Jonathan Hannestad all disqualified from the formation lap. Their tyres are going to be absolutely stone cold at the beginning of this race. They're going to struggle off the start, especially Jonathan Hannestad, who choked them into the strategy. If we take a quick look at the tyres, we've got a few people, William Lightning and Martin Noble and Sam Palmer, all opting for the hards, the alternate strategy. So they're going to want to go very late into the race, assuming there's no car issues, and box maybe lap 25 a bit later. But we will line ourselves up on the grid and get ready for the race start. So we've got 1 light, 2 light, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. And away we go for the Hungarian race in Amethyst Racing Tier 2. Xenia seems to get a good start. Kizio falls back slightly. He's clear into the first corner. No one's going to send down the inside. They're a bit far away. They go almost 3 wide into that first turn. Xenius and Kizio get away well. Vadrino has made up 2 places off the start and is into P3. Rene Kopp has lost a position, 2 positions now. Kozev gets past him. Simon Sanderstill's up a position. Sebastian Zervader's dropping like anything into 3rd, but he's just getting back into 6th. That's a Ferrari off the road. That's side wing. That's Vasily He's almost into the barrier, but he seems to have saved it. Luke Martin seems to have spun in the back in the Alpine as well. That's not going to do his tyres much good. He'll be hoping for a safety car to bring himself back into play. But for now, Xenius leads with a 6th, 10th, with a 7th, 10th lead. Patrick Kizio behind him, followed by Vadrino, who's got Kate Kozev on his heels. Bring up the interval. Further down the grid, Jack King, very close to the back of Joseph Recruit, who likewise is close to the back of Simon Sanderstill. As we travel further into races, Dogger already picking up a 3-second time penalty. I'm not sure if that's driving across a corner or a few track improvements already, but he doesn't want to pick too many more of them up. That can really affect your position in the race. But it looks like Joseph Recruit is going to sizable move on Simon Sanderstill, as we get a lovely pit stop strategy at the wrong time. But he doesn't manage to complete the move this time. Joseph Recruit and Simon Sanderstill sticking their current positions. They're going to fight it through this turn, go side by side. Simon Sanderstill edges out a bit further down the grid. They are all evening out. Kizil now is a second, 1.1 seconds behind the leader Xenius. Badger is a further 1.5 seconds behind them. The train here, the 3 of Simon Sanderstill, Raccoon and King, all running together. He takes that curb a bit too much and gets a massive snap of oversteer. You don't want to do that, you're not going to have too much grip. Your tyres are going to lift off. That's going to put him under threat from Melecheric, who's closing in behind. Well, Lightning has lost places at the start, down into P14. Those hard tyres are hard to switch on from the start. You really have to blitz them on the formation lap. Meanwhile, his teammate Martin Noble is stuck in P11 for the time being, but beware, these softs will drop off very quickly. You have 3, maybe 4 or 5 laps of peak performance, and then they'll drop off, and you'll have a pace advantage on those hards and on the mediums. Got a few different strategies here today that can be used by the drivers, and DRS will be enabled this lap. You could have soft, medium, medium, as we saw in the previous race. We could have hard to soft, we can have medium to hard, the choice of which will be seen throughout the race. Sam Palmer's got a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. That's his race going from bad to worse. Maybe he has damage from the start. He was on the hard, so this is going to do his race no good. Melecheric retiring from the session. Could that trigger a safety car today? It has. That's VSC for the moment. So we'll see if that develops into a full safety car. It hasn't as of yet, but one can be triggered quite late on. So that's gonna neutralise the racing just for a minute, and we can get further into the gaps. Kiziel did manage to make up a bit of time on Xenius. He's not 8/10, but he might just be getting a bit lucky with his delta. Might have to back off a bit later in the next corner. So the top 5 for now are Xenius, Kiziel, Vajana, Kozin and Kopp. Kopp has lost some positions starting P3 on the grid. Zerva lost positions as well. Two now running with each other. Vasiliev, after having a spin early on, is down in 15th. That's not going to do his race much good. It will be a solid VSC. The safety car doesn't look like it will make an appearance. The VSC will end fairly soon now that the incident has been cleared. So we will wait and see when that happens. But unfortunately that means the back 3, the back 4, Jack King picks up a time penalty, a drive through for speeding under safety car. That's really unfortunate. That's going to put him down the order and out of the points for now. So Martin Noble's going to gain a place, though he is 3.5 seconds behind him. Joris Xenius has got a much better start than Patrick Kiziel. He's now got almost a 2-second lead over him. Following this, we have a fairly spread out grid. Vajana is the closest driver to anyone right now at 3/10 behind the McLaren driver Kei Kozip. I believe is his debut race for Amethyst Racing. And so we will see how he performs under pressure. Runs a bit wide through turn 3, but does get a slightly better exit. Vajana gets a snap on the exit and has to bail out somewhat, but it's not going to affect his race too badly. Following behind, we've now got a bit of a train forming. DRS is enabled now, so the DRS train will start to form. It's going to be who can look after their tyres, and the strategy is going to play a key role here. Jack King's coming to serve his penalty. There is a yellow flag that Alpine has come off the track, but he's still going. Track has gone green once more. So they're now filing together. Vajana is going to want to put the pressure onto Kozip to try and force an error and a mistake so we can slide in through a gap, and he's closing up really on his back with a mighty size up move into this chicane. It wouldn't be too wise to. So he sticks in behind now, going through the next section, runs a bit wide there. That's going to lose him a small bit of time. Kopp behind is gaining as well now. Got a yellow flag for an Alpine. I believe that's already blue flags. That is not going to help his race. That's going to be quite disheartening for him to keep going. I believe that is Luke Martin in the Alpine. Is not having the best of times. But Vajana now all over the back of Kozip. As Kozip decided to pit, but this early on into the race, lap 6, that's very early for an uppercut. Depends if he might try the hards to go to the end. But that is a weird strategy for him. Vajana's now going to be left vulnerable with no one in front to have DRS. So Rene Kopp is going to have a chance to have another attack at him. Sebastian Zerveld is slowly gaining onto the top, onto those two. Rene Kopp getting very close into the downwards section here, running into the end of sector 1. And Sebastian Zerveld just clinging onto the DRS of Kopp. It's just fallen out of it now, but I'm sure he'll gain it back in as he already has. He's got Simon Sander still very close behind him, and following them Joseph. Martin Noble is losing some time. He's almost 5.5 seconds behind at the top 7. So he'll look to close that gap. I believe he still is on the hards. William Lightning has gained a few positions, I imagine from spins and penalties, and is up into P11. But on the alternate strategy on the hards, that might pay off for him later in the race. Have some fresh sauce towards the end. However, Rene Kopp has just fallen out of the DRS. of Vajra. He's clawed back into it, or has he, as they go through the DRS detection point? It's there, past that white line. He is within it, but he does decide to pit. They're all pitting very early. Their tyres are wearing very hard around here, but usually we'd see a lap 8 pit, maybe lap 10, depending on tyre wear, considering the virtual safety car. The tyres won't be in too bad of a shape. Vajra now has a small bit of breathing space from Zerveld, who is out of his DRS. Doesn't seem to have the pace to keep up with Vajra, who has emerged from the midfield in the past few races. Managed to pick up his first win, I believe, in Silverstone. There is a spun Mercedes, I believe, on track of Dogart. I don't know if he's moving again or if he's had a DNF. It doesn't look like it. He was just letting a few cars go past, and he's back running now. That's going to put him right under threat from Sam Palmer. Oh no, it isn't. Sam Palmer is in that car. Unfortunately, that's not going to do him any good. Vajra is still with a 1.2 second lead over Zerveld. Zerveld's under threat now from Simon Sanderstill, who's only 6 steps behind. So depending on who has the better pace here, strategy is going to become the main player in this race. As we lead into lap 8, Vajra looks like he's going to stay out another lap. Zerveld's going to stay out again. Simon Sanderson's going to stay out again. He's only 5 tenths behind. If he can use his ERS wisely, he might be able to get past the Haas on this main straight with the use of DRS. He is closing up to the back, but he does look a bit fast, make a dive bomb. He's going to reserve for this lap. Oh, he gets very close to the back of him. Lucky to not run in and damage his wing. Martin Noble now into 5th on that alternate strategy, but he does have soft runners behind him, or medium runners. I can give a little tyre rundown for the moment. Yep, he's got Xenius only a couple of seconds behind him on brand new mediums, so Martin Noble is going to want to start stretching his legs and trying to pull away from those, with Hannestad as a buffer in the middle, trying to hold them up. But for now, Zerveld has gained back into the DRS of Vajra. He might have made a mistake midway through this lap, but he's fallen out again. He doesn't seem to have the proper pace. There is a yellow flag. Is that a Red Bull, or is that it's a Alfa Romeo? That's Will Lightning. He might have spun. That's not going to do him well. And Rene Kopp, who went onto the hards, in fact, boxed around lap 6. That hasn't paid off too well for him, but he is on an old strategy, so he doesn't have to box again this race. As Dogart picks up another 3-second penalty. Sebastian Zerveld now calls it into the pits. He's got Vajra ahead. Simon Sanderstill stays out. Jordan Kuhn stays out. Noble will take the lead, I imagine, once these guys pit either this lap or next lap. Sebastian Zerveld picked up a 5-second penalty, was that, for speeding in the pit lane. He did. That's not going to do his race any good there. It doesn't look like he's going to come out ahead of Xenius as well. Xenius has got the jump on all of the dryers at the moment. He is a net P1 on the freshest tyres. Actually, no, Kizio is. Kizio holds the net P1 position at this moment. I'm not sure how that's happened. We might have missed it. But Patrick Kizio now leads the race with those in front of him not having pit yet. He's ahead of Xenius with a 1-second lead, so that is very interesting. We've got another yellow flag, and that might be Zachary Kister, who's had an off in the last sector. That's not going to do his tyres any good on 5-lap-old mediums. He does look to have a bit of end plate damage, so that's him going to come into the pits. We'll see what tyre he decides to stick on. Vajra is still showing a lot of pace. Simon Sanderson now has a 2-second gap from him, which is showing and demonstrating his very strong pace around Hungary, a very technical track. So if he does enjoy this, Simon Sanderson stays out another lap, so he's going to lap 10 on these softs. These softs are going to be shredding themselves now. If we look at the interval to the leader, Xenius is only 10 seconds behind Sanderstill, and he's set to bottles up an 18.56 on those mediums. And I believe a pit stop deficit is around 20 seconds here, so that's going to put him around 10 seconds behind Xenius. He's gaining all the time. Might have wanted to pit a bit earlier. We'll see if he's going to be undercut by Vajra on the new mediums. Vajra now has Sebastian Zerveld has clawed right up to the back of him in the pit lane. So he is crawling all over the back. He's going to be... doesn't want to be following too closely around here. The dirty air is horrible. It's difficult to follow, especially through this first and second section. In the dirty air, you could easily lose the back end. As we can see now, Martin Noble at the moment in second on the hard tyre. He's going to be looking to cause as much time onto side still as he can, as he's gaining tenths upon tenths at a time. Those softs have really had it now. Hopefully Sanderstill is into the box at last. He's going to stick on the medium tyre, so he will look to go maybe to a soft medium strategy, or depending on safety cars he might keep this tyre on. There is another spun Mercedes, it looks like that's Hannestad. That's a second spin out of that corner, I imagine. Vajra does get out ahead of Sanderstill, who is down in 10th. He's got the Aston Martin 6 tenths in front of him of Joe's Raccoon. Sebastian Zerveld wants to keep this pace and wants to stick in the DRS of Vajra. Vajra does have, I believe, a bit better pace right now. He's been able to pull away, especially on those old softs, so he'll be aiming to stick in his DRS and maybe make a move on him sometime in the next few laps. Further down the grid, there's pretty big gaps between everyone. Patrick Kizzio is all over the back of Martin Noble, who is on the alternate strategy. Patrick Kizzio on fresh softs, but Joris Senior's closed in right on the back of him. Could we see a double overtake? Martin Noble only is going to be able to rely on his DRS here. On his DRS, he's only got 20%, less than 20%. Patrick Kizzio is going to make the overtake stick before the corner. Zenius decides to hold back for now, but he might have a go into the next turn. As we ride on board, he is going to send it down, and he's going to get the move completed. Straight past. Noble seeming to be struggling on these tyres. Sam Palmer retires from the session. That's not going to do the Alpine driver any good. He wanted to pick up points. That is unfortunate for him. So we are down to 17 drivers in this race. Patrick Kizzio now leads the race, has a threat from Zenius, who gets a massive slap of O's in mid-corner. He's now 8 tenths behind, but still closing up. Zenius has a very good setup and is very strong around this track, as you can see. Gaining tenths upon tenths in this second sector. Zachary Kister picking up a 3-second time penalty. However, down last, only 4 tenths off Luke Martin. Those two are in a race of their own, and I don't think it's going to be points, unfortunately. So will Zenius now see an opportunity to try and make a move on Kizzio as they round the main straight? He's going to open up the DRS. He might be draining his battery. Kizzio moves across to the right to defend the inside line. Zenius decides to sit behind him, too far away for this time. Noble seems to have dropped off the front of those two. He is out of DRS now. That's not going to do his race any good. Until we're going to fight into this downhill turn, and Zenius has much better grip going in there. Oh, and he tags him and sends him into a spin. And Patrick Kizzio is off the racetrack and looks to have lost his front wing, and that's race ending for him. That's shocking. He has just lost his front wing. The tag from Zenius has sent him spinning into the barrier. He's going to have to drive an entire lap without a front wing now. That's ruined his race. He's losing positions now. Kopp goes past him. Raccoon goes past. Sanderstill about to make a move on him as well. Hannestad goes for another spin this race. Kizzio, unfortunately, is a passenger to this car right now. No front wing, no. Just going to be understeering around the track. Martin Noble picks up a penalty. That's an entire lap he's had to do without a front wing. It has happened, Hamadir, and it's a real shame. He was running very well. He had strong pace, but if he can slap on another set of mediums and try and take them to the end, then it's still recoverable from here. Hannastad now coming behind him, Will Lightning behind him as well. Kizio is going to peel off into the box. Lightning, oh, Hannastad and Kizio in the box. Look to have almost made a bit of contact there. A box overtake, a Sebastian Vettel-esque move. As Joe's Raccoon looks like he just got ahead of Sanasteel, or they were fighting. Sanasteel is going to continue this fight. He's going to try and move up the inside. Ooh, doesn't get there just in time. But he does run a bit wide. Sanasteel's going to try around the outside. Decides to back out. He doesn't want to have to get off the brakes too quickly. But those two fighting. There is a spinner in front, and I believe that is... oh, it's Martin Noble. He's lost his front wing as well. That's another midway through the lap in Sector 2. He's going to have to recover this race. Maybe try the mediums. But those hards seemed like he was struggling on. He didn't have the grip to try and keep up with those in front and those on fresher tyres, which is unfortunate for him. He's gonna try not to hold up his teammate Lightning, who's rounding the next few corners. Joe's Raccoon picks up a 3-second time penalty now for track limits. Martin Noble's not going to want to hold up his teammate here. He's going to want to let him through. Well, Lightning is still on that hard strategy, but he's only in P9 for the moment, so Lightning will be hoping for maybe something like a safety car to try and box or a set of mediums and not lose too many positions. Two Alfa Romeos don't tangle. Noble keeps himself out of the way nice and sensibly. Xenius, now the Kozev has about a 5-second lead, which is stretching all the time. Badger into P3, he seems to have lost positions. Further down the grid, Sanasteel with a bit better pace on those mediums. Can we have a look at the pens? Oh, of course. So Xenius has 3 seconds, Kozev has 3 seconds, Zervel with 5 seconds for speeding in the pit lane. Joe's Raccoon picked up a 3-second track limit warning a minute ago. Martin Noble, Jonathan Hannastad, Zed Dogger with 6 seconds, and Zachary Kister running a lap down has 3 seconds. If we take a look at the tyres as well, the oldest tyres on the grid right now are those of William Lightning's, doing 14 laps at the moment, with Vasiliev, who had damage on lap 1, boxed soon after for a set of hards and has been on those for 12 laps. Meanwhile, out front, Xenius has relatively fresh tyres. Simon Sanders will be a 3-second time track warning penalty. Further away, the Aston Martins, one has fresh tyres. Joe's Raccoon, are they going to come into team orders here to try and let the other through? They do not want to hold him up with much better tyres. He's got 3 lap better tyres. There is a bit of a spin in Sector 2, but it's recovered quickly. No, Rene Kopp stays ahead. The two of them do not want to stop fighting and do not want to have a tangle. It's not going to do them any good. They're running very well at the moment in 5th and 6th. I'm sure Joe's going to be wanting to edge past him. He's got 3 lap fresher tyres, I believe. And so he doesn't want to be held up too much longer. Got a Sector 3 yellow flag. That looks like Luke Martin, the only Alpine left, has had a spin. Hasn't retired as of yet, though. So whether he decides to continue, we shall have to wait and see. He is a lap down, and he's just picked up a 5-second penalty in the pit lane. He is, his day is going from bad to worse at the moment. However, Raccoon looks to be a fair bit closer to his middle six now. As we round in, he's 3/10 off. Hovering around there. His teammate does not want to hold him up here. They want to work together to pull away from Sandersteel, who's just pulling into their DRS zone. He's very close on them. The two of them really do not want to tangle. It's hard to follow through this Sector 3. You're going to be destroying your tyres if you do. The two of them unlikely to want to be making another pit stop. As we ride on board with Joe's Raccoon, let's see if he does decide to go for the move. He does. His teammate isn't going to fight it, but he wants to cover off from Sanasteel as well. So the Aston Martins invert into the first turn. Got a yellow flag in Sector 2. Is that Hannastad again having a spin? It might be. It isn't Hannastad, it is a McLaren. Kozev has DNF'd in fact, and we've got a full course safety car. What's happened there? I'm sure we'll see as we go past with Raccoon. That is race ending. He was running in second, and there he is in the middle of the track. That's going to be quite dangerous for other drivers passing through. They're going to want to avoid that to pick up no damage. If we ride on with Will Lightning, we might be able to get a decent view of what has happened. There is the car as it just despawns. He is DNF'd in the middle of the track. That's going to be heartbreak for him. He was running in second. That promotes Badger in second. Zerveld back onto the podium. But a full course safety car that might work out in Will Lightning's favour. He could box for a brand new set of mediums and take those to the end. So now the grid shakes itself up. Jorasinius comes into the pit. Badgernet doesn't come into the pit, in fact. Badgernet is going to steam past Xenius. Oh no, he doesn't. That's Luke Martin. My apologies. The top three into the pits for now. The two Aston Martins. They may come into the pits, but they don't want to double stack. You're going to lose a lot of time. Neither of them decide to pit, so they're going to come out in second and third now. Jorasinius is going to retain his lead. Will Lightning has had a brilliant safety car timing here. He's going to pick up the lead of the race. Was that Zerveld getting a wing change? It looked to be, so maybe he had some damage that he was nursing. We might see some better pace from him in this next stint as we round into the final half of this race. But Xenius, leading currently, is on a brand new set of mediums. If we have a little tyre run now, the two Aston Martins deciding not to box. It's going to leave them vulnerable. Santa still hasn't boxed either. The three drivers there are going to have worse tyres for those around them. Will Lightning on brand new tyres with Patrick Kiziel ahead of him on 3 lap old mediums who hasn't decided to pit. However, Kiziel's tyre deficit won't be too bad. It might play a factor at the end of the race. However, Will Lightning be looking to pounce and make up position into P7. Martin Noble in P10. Both Alfa Romeos recovering into the points after a weaker start to the race than they would have liked. Two Mercedes haven't been running as well as they would have liked to. Unfortunately, Zachary Kister and Luke Martin are a couple of laps down at this point, I believe, and so they're unlikely to recover in this race or make up any point positions. I don't think you cannot lap the safety car here, or in the game, maybe a feature in the next one, which comes out in less than a month now, I believe. So we will have a few laps under the safety car as the drivers catch up. Xenius is going to warm his tyres. You don't want to wear them in too hard. You want to save their prime phase for when the safety car does go in. I imagine the drivers are closing in now. We will have safety car in this lap. By the looks of things, they'll have all closed in by the end of sector 3. So we'll take a look at the top 5 rundown. We've got Jorasinius running in first, Joe Cocoon in second, Rennie Kopp third, 2 Aston Martins doing well. However, they haven't boxed on 8 and 11 lap mediums respectively. Simon Sanders still on 7 lap old mediums in 4th, Badger on brand new mediums in 5th. Badger has brilliant pace around here. Following him, we have Sebastian Zerveld, 2 of them on fresh mediums. Patrick Kiziel boxed fairly close to when the safety car came out. That's not going to be him in too good of a mood. He's lost out there with the safety car timing. He's got William Lightning behind him on brand new mediums as well. Followed by Jack King, Martin Noble, Vasiliev, who is reserving for Ferrari today, Zed Dogar. The safety car will be in this lap. Jonathan Hannestad, Kister, and Luke Martin. However, Hannestad, Kister and Martin are all a lap down, so that is unfortunately their race is going to be over. That looks unrecoverable from here, which is a shame for them. So Xenius we will ride on board with for the start. He has the Aston Martin of Raccoon, who's been charging his way through the field. He's going to round that final. Oh, and he spins! He's actually spun on the safety car restart. That's dreadful from him. That's going to place him down at the back, and he's going to be fuming. Oh no! As we ride on board here with Vasiliev, he's going to attack Martin Noble. That is Xenius into 12th. That is his race damaged beyond repair. Raccoon now leads. Vajra gets ahead of Cop. Santa still gets ahead of Cop. And then following him, Zerveld is going to have a look around the outside as well. These two are going to fight it into the next turn. Zerveld with the inside line is going to get ahead. They're still going to run side by side. Patrick Kiziel behind the Aston Martin of Cop. He struggled on that safety car restart. Doggar picked up another racing penalty. Will Lightning is up into 7th. They're all fighting in here. Will Lightning's going to send it down the inside. Almost loses it. He doesn't want to do that too often. He makes a slight tap with Jack Kane, who made an opportunistic move there. Didn't pan out very well for him. Joseph Kuhn now with a 1.5 second lead. Joris Zenius is going to be kicking himself down in 12th and out of the points now. 6 seconds behind P11. Was leading and spun on that inside curb. That's going to be him. That's going to be his race absolutely destroyed. He can work back over the next 15 laps to claw back some points, but it's going to be a massive uphill struggle from here on. Simon Sanders still on the back of Vajra, 7/10 off, no DRS as of yet. Until he gets a much better exit, he's going to be very vulnerable to the massive Sebastian Zerveld. He's going to be draining his ERS. He's going to have a look down the inside, and he's going to make the move stick into turn 1, and he's going to get the inside line, and he's going to get that attraction off the exit. Is Ferrari of Sanders still going to come back at him though? No, he isn't. He's got the move done, and he's done it brilliantly. Further down the order, Vasiliev on the back of Patrick Kiziel. Will Lightning, unfortunately, has dropped back to 10th position. He may have picked up a slight problem or been caught in some traffic. Martin Noble, his teammates, got ahead of him. Zenius getting through the field, trying to recover his race. Still running in P12, closing up to the main pack. Further up the order, we have Simon Sanders still running just outside that second gap of Zerveld. Zerveld is closing up the back of Vajra. Vajra closing within that DRS of Raccoon. DRS will be enabled this lap. So Raccoon's going to want a nice exit as to not make himself vulnerable. However, Zerveld has closed right up to the back of Vajra. Got a yellow flag. That is, looks to be an Alpine has spun. That's going to be unfortunate for Luke Martin. It's not been his race today. Zerveld is closing up to the back of Vajra, but he looks a bit too far. Maybe the next time around with DRS assistance, he might be able to do it. Joris Zenius setting the fastest lap, showing his pace, which is unfortunate. He's up in to the 118s. If we run on board with him, he's about 3/10 behind the Mercedes of Zed Doggar. He's going to make a move into the downhill section. He tries to go around the outside. He's not going to choose the inside line. Doesn't want to repeat what happened with Kiziel beforehand. Zerveld now right on the back of Vajra. Vasiliev up into 6th after a terrible first lap, getting spun around, facing the back of the grid. He's all down the back of Kopf, and he's been spun into turn 5, and he's got through, but it's a massive, massive dive bomb, and that looks to have been an unfair overtake to me. That will probably be looked at after the race, but that's Kopf's race down into P10, almost falling out of the points. He's going to be able to threat from Will Lightning now. However, Vasiliev now has the Haas of Zerveld, Martin Noble, and Zenius, who's clawed his way back into 8th, showing his supreme pace here. He's going to be very vulnerable down the main straight with DRS activated. He's got Patrick Kinsey with 4/10 behind, who's still closing in, followed by Martin Noble and Zenius. Zenius all on the back of this train of 4 cars. Vasiliev is going to be really, really under threat. Mr. Lego Effect, I know you're engineering for him, that must have been a massive shame. But Vasiliev is going to really want to have to go defensive here. He's going to be really under threat, but he's got a good exit. He's got a good run off the final corner. Zenius is going to send it down the inside of Martin Noble. Martin Noble's going to fight back, but does send it a bit too wide, so Zenius is going to make that position up to 7th. Patrick Kiziel now running close to Vasiliev. Isn't close enough. He's got Zenius right behind him now. The two of them collided around this here last corner. He's going to want to be very careful here now. He's surely not going to size up a move here. It's very dangerous to try it. It doesn't work out side by side as he does set the fastest first sector. He is flying on those mediums. We've got a yellow flag in sector 2. That seems to be Martin Noble has spun, hit the barrier. That's unfortunate for him, but he will hopefully still remain at his point. Will Lightning is that to Fox? Is that damage? Vajra now all over the back of Joe's Raccoon, and with the help of DRS and those fresher tyres, is likely going to be able to make the move. So the the only points running Aston, Joseph Kuhn, is going to come under threat here from the two cars behind him, Vangelis and Sebastian Zerber, who could make a double overtake here. We could see what Jonas Motmet and Danny Moreno tried at Imola in F1 Esports. So here we go, if we run on board with Vangelis, he gets past. Sebastian Zerber is a bit too far, but he might make a dive bomb. He does! He goes right down the inside. Joseph Kuhn is helpless to do anything without that DRS. That's him down 2 positions. He's now down into 3rd. Vangelis takes the lead of the race. He's got supreme pace around here. Sebastian Zerber is in 2nd though. Vangelis has run wide in that corner. Not going to get the best exit, but Zerber is going to be able to make a move for a while now. He's going to have to sit behind him for the rest of this lap. Joseph Kuhn on those old tyres is going to be suffering now. Those tyres are now 13 laps old compared to those 5-lap old mediums. He's going to be under threat soon, I imagine, from Vasiliev, who will be clawing back on those 5-lap old mediums as well. And likely we'll get past Simon Sanders if he catches up to him through some team orders on a better strategy at the moment. But as we keep going, Zerveld now, as we saw him get a new wing, has unlocked some new pace. He did go with that wing over that curve there. Maybe a warning given. But so far, he's running very close. He'll look to use the DRS here and overtake a vulnerable Vangelis in the Williams. If he can get a good run out of this last turn, bit of understeer following him around here, but he'll dump his ERS. Is Vangelis doing the same? He is not, he's saving it. So here we go, Zerveld with the DRS is going to pull out to the inside, and he's going to go down the inside. And there's a safety car just as that happens. Hannestad has DNF'd and he's out of the race. So Sebastian Zerveld, just as the safety car comes out, gets ahead of Vangelis, or has he? He looked to pull over, maybe, no, he got the overtake done before the safety car came out, so that's going to be them in a very nice position. That's going to allow them to recharge his ERS, save some more tyres. Joseph Kuhn has a bit of a lifeline here. That is the pass of Mercedes, sorry, of, oh no, Joseph Kuhn has hit the stranded DNF'd Mercedes of Hannestad, and he's been spun round, and that's more positions lost. He waits for enough space to overtake, but that's his race going from good to worse. Like his teammate, that's really unfortunate. He hit the stranded DNF car, and that's not going to do him any good. He's on old tyres, he's going to want to try and box maybe, come out ahead of Doggar on a safety car. But for now, Aston's day has gone from Mr. Brightside to in the gutter. Oh, it was a bug. He didn't touch it on his screen. That's even worse. That's going to be him in, I imagine, a very angry state. Whether he boxes or not, Sebastian Zerveld and Vangelis box. That is interesting. They were both on fairly fresh tyres, but they could stick on the softs now. They will do 10 or 9 laps. Everyone is going to go on the softs, so we're going to have a really interesting 9-lap dash on the end. On the softs, they're all going to have brand new softs on. We will stick onto the tyres. Hopefully, Raccoon stays out. No, he should have boxed. He should have boxed. He had a chance to stick in P3. Xenia stays out on those mediums. I don't blame him. He doesn't want to spin this time. But the two in front are going to be so vulnerable to all of those fresh soft runners behind them. All of them, from Zerveld, Krez, Sanderstill, Kizil, Vasiliev, Noble, Doggar, King, they're all on brand new fresh softs. Halsey, the Haas team principal, saying that 5 seconds of Zerveld is going to get removed. We'll have a run out of the penalties. Joris Seniors has 3 seconds, Joseph Kuhn with 8 seconds of penalties. Whether any of those were removed, I don't know, but that's a large, hefty amount. Sebastian Zerveld has 5 seconds, which may or may not be removed. Vangelis with nothing so far. Vangelis is the net race leader with penalties at the moment. We will have a look at the leader. Yep, Vangelis will win this race if it were to end similar to this. Sanderstill with a 3-second penalty. Martin Noble has a 3-second. Zed Doggar with the most of anyone at 12 seconds. He said an unfortunate race. Luke Martin, Zachary Kister and Will Lightning. Will Lightning could catch up. He isn't a lap down as of yet, but he has got a long way to get back to the safety car. I personally feel like Joe's Raccoon should have gone into the box when he had the chance, because now he's going to be so vulnerable beginning this next these next few laps on those really, really old hards. His tyres are 15 laps old. That's not going to do him any good. Aston's day is going from bad to worse. He's going to have to rely on raw pace and hope there's some grip left in them. They will do 30 odd laps, but compared to fresh softs, he's going to have to drive the wheels off that car to maintain a decent position, let alone stay on the podium. On the safety car restart, we will have Xenius looking to not spin this time. I imagine he was driving out of pure anger in that last stint and is probably quite relieved of another safety car triggered by Hannestad to put him back into first, although he is on old tyres. If Sebastian Zerwald can get past, he will put us up very quickly to the back of that Red Bull on brand new softs. I imagine we will have safety car in this lap. Will Lightning in 12th isn't a lap down and is on fresh softs. He'll be looking to make up a few positions. Rene Koch in the Aston, who was spun by one of the Ferraris, is in 11th on 3 lap old mediums. He's not going to be too happy about that. He was running very well with his teammate earlier. Max thinks that Xenius is going to win even with the old tyres. That's going to be a stretch. If Zerwald can get past Kuhn, which probably won't be too difficult, it's going to be hard. But I think everyone's caught up into Sector 3. We will get the message from race control and safety car is in this lap. So we will see what happens from here on out as we get ready to go racing again. Xenius, he's going to want a much better restart than he had last time. So we'll see what goes on. Warming up his tyres, he's going to need them nice and sticky to get away. Joseph Kuhn, he might not face too much threat from. Running behind him, Xenius has gone very early. We'll get some massive snap or a lot of understeer through that last corner. Raccoon is very much under threat now. Look at Zerwald. With the exit he gets on those fresh tyres, looks is going to go round the outside, but Raccoon, with some brilliant defence, has managed to keep the position. Zerwald spins and is into the barrier. That's his race over. Vajrina now is effectively in the best position with those fresh softs. He's going to be all over the back of Raccoon with Sanderstill and Kiziel. Sebastian Zerwald misjudged his acceleration and he's spun. And he's down into 12th out of the point. Will Lightning's promoted into 10th. Rene Koch is up into 9th as well. And look, Vajrina is going to fancy a go into the chicane. He looked to try and size one up, maybe trick Raccoon. Zerwald has spun on his own, a bit too much throttle inputs, maybe some colder tyres overheating them potentially. But as it stands, Vajrina all over the back of Raccoon, who's defended marvellously on those really old tyres. Turns in a bit of wheel banging between the two side pods, front wheel to his side pod, but Vajrina has got through into this turn and it's going to be released. But Xenius now with a 4-second lead over Vajrina, but he does have 7 laps to try and make up some ground on him. Now Raccoon is facing threat from Sanderstill. Sanderstill is going to have a go around the outside. He brakes late. Joseph Kuhn is sent. Oh, he gets a massive slide on the apex. He's going to be done by Kiziel and Sanderstill. Kiziel gets into P3 now. Kiziel is replaced where his teammate Zerwald was. Zed Doggo is going to have a go down the inside of Raccoon. He's now side by side with Vasiliev. He's really falling off who he should have boxed when the others in front of him did. He had the time to react. That's not the best strategy call we've seen from that Aston Martin outfit. Zed Doggo goes off the track. The 3 in front are scrapping away. Simon Sanderstill just ahead. Vasiliev, the reserve, in 5th. Ferrari's running 4th and 5th. Takes that cover a bit too heavily. There is a spin contact. Martin Noble has spun with Kister, a lapped car. That is going to be very damaging. He was running in the points. That's terrible. As Vasiliev gets past Simon Sanderstill, Simon Sanderstill now under threat from Joseph Kuhn on those old tyres, continues to fight back. But they do have a little bit of contact. Oh no, and that's Doggars out of the race. He's been hit. That's Jack King up further. Will Lightning into 7th. Jack King doesn't look to have any damage. Patrick Kiziel sets the fastest lap. Noble manages to get back into the points after he was spun by Kister, or had a tanglement with him. That is a massive shame from him. Dogger was running in 5th or 6th. Martin Noble's got damage as well. That's not going to do his race any good. Further up, Kiziel is right on the back of Adrina. 3/10, 2/10, gaining all the time, but he's going to face a lot of dirty air, especially through this corner. He has to back off as not to spin. But they can't seem to catch up to Joris Seniors, who's got a 3.7 second lead out in front and continues to extend that. His pace is superior today, extending it all the time. Vajrina doesn't, even on those fresh tyres, have the pace to keep up. So it's going to be a fight between Vajrina and Patrick Kiziel. These two had a massive fight at Silverstone a couple races back. Vajrina came out the victor on top then with a late pass on the last lap of DRS. But Kiziel now is going to have DRS for 5-6 laps remaining. As you around the final corner, Patrick Kiziel is pushing Vajrina around that final corner. He's going to slap open the DRS. He's going to have better drive. He's going to take to the inside line, and he's going to have a go at Vajrina. He goes on the inside. Looked like a small bit of contact maybe, but no damage as we can see. Patrick Kiziel gets a move done. He is in to P2, and now he's set free. He does have good pace. He can try and chase after Xenius with these 5 laps remaining, who is 4.4 seconds ahead. But Xenius, if we have a look at tyres, is on 12 lap old mediums. Patrick Kiziel on 4 lap old softs. Those softs will drop off a curve soon. Joe's Raccoon picks up another 3-second penalty. That's not going to do his race any good. However, Vajrina isn't dropping off the back of Kiziel. We're going to see a fight between these two as Jack King and Will Lightning are scrapping away. Jack King now all over the back of Sanderson. He's going to have a move into that chicane. He's not going to think about it right now. Vajrina has dropped off 7/10 to Patrick Kiziel, maybe a small slide. As you're on board with Jack King, following Sanderson through that section. A lovely camera angle that the game gives us here. He's closing through here. He's got a little bit of slipstream, and he's got a much better exit. He's going to have a go into this last corner. He's going to try and go to the inside. He does. He brakes late, and he gets the move done marvellously. Sanderson pushed off the track slightly, but nevertheless, a nice overtake from him. Patrick Kiziel is gaining fast on Xenius, but is it fast enough? He's made up about 5/10 in the past lap. 6/10. He had good pace in the Tier 1 race that he reserved in, so we'll see what he can do. Vajrina has dropped off 1.2 seconds from behind him. Will Lightning might have a go on the Ferrari of Sanderstill. He decides not to for now. We have a yellow flag elsewhere. Luke Martin retiring from the session. He was a lapped car. That's unfortunate for him. Alpine have not had their way today. But for now, Will Lightning remains all over the back of Simon Sanderson. We're going to be putting pressure on. However, Sanderson's going to be aided. Oh no, he's just lost the DRS of Jack King. And we have full course safety car. Oh no, but it will not be out for long. With only this few laps left, it will go in fairly quickly. Luke Martin brought out another safety car. I don't imagine we'll have anyone else boxing unless Xenius sees an opportunity. But at this point, with a safety car, if they can catch up, Joe's Raccoon picks up a drive-through. That's his race almost over. Oh no, Joe's Raccoon has a drive-through penalty, speeding, exceeding that delta. That's going to be almost race-ending from him. Xenius is going to be under so much threat. He's boxed. He will not survive. Patrick Kiziel goes into the lead. Vajrina goes past him. Is Vasiliev going to go past him as well? It looks like he is going to. So Xenius in 4th. There's only going to be a lap or so on the safety car. The safety car goes in very quickly. Martin Noble picks up another 3-second penalty. We have a look at the penalties for now. Joe's Raccoon is going to be taken out of the point positions, I imagine, with that penalty. Oh no, he might just stick in it, but he'll have only a couple of points to recover. He'll come out around Will Lightning. But now, with Xenius pitting, the top 3 as it stands will stick the top 3. The Xenius behind has boxed and has a 3-second penalty, so unless that's removed, which was a track infringement warning, I don't think it will. I don't think it will be. That's going to be Xenius placed far down the order here. It's not going to do him any good. Joseph Kuhn is going to have to serve this penalty as quickly as possible, but unfortunately he's not going to be able to make up many positions. Following on from this, Patrick Kiziel goes further. He's going to extend his points positions in the championship further. If he can retain the lead, if we take a look at tyres, I believe that they're all on the same tyres. Safety car's going to be in this lap. It goes in very quickly. Sebastian Zervad has the fastest lap at the moment. We'll have the interval at the moment. All of them are on fresh tyres apart from Xenius. Xenius is going to look to make up positions here. But as we get ready, Kiziel's not going to want to waste his tyres too much, but he's got about 3 laps left. I think we'll have DRS enabled on the last lap, so he's going to really want to defend here. He's going to want to pull away from Vajra. He did have more pace than Vajra, so we'll see what he can do. Xenius behind is going to be raring to go. There's a queue forming. He goes so slowly through that last section. Unfortunately, Lightning and Zervad haven't caught up. Kiziel goes now halfway through the last turn. He gets a decent jump on Vajra. Oh, and Xenius retires from the session and he's spun out again on safety car restart. Xenius is out of the race. Patrick Kiziel keeps the lead. Vajra is in P2 still. Vasiliev, Joseph Kuhn still on those hards and goes for a spin. That's Joseph Kuhn's race is over. He should have boxed many a time. He had the chance. He didn't take it. Simon Sanner still running now. He's got Vasiliev right on the back of Vajra. It's now a race to see whose tyre is in the best way and who has the best pace. Vasiliev gets a little bit out of shape there, so he's going to lose a bit of time. But Will Lightning is caught up. Is that all over the back of Simon Sanner still? Will Lightning might be a bit more back to try into this chicane, but he is all over the back of Will Lightning. Has improved massively on his wheel. Further down, Kiziel with a great pace is extending his lead on Vajra through the middle sector, but he can gain back with the use of some slipstream. Will Lightning gets ahead of Simon Sanner still, who looks to have had a bit of a problem in the middle sector. There is now a massive bunch up going on. Patrick Kiziel extending his lead further. Kopp leads this section on old mediums. They've all got old softs, so Will Lightning is going to be the first one to try and make a move on him. He's going to dump his ERS with Will Lightning for now. He turns on the ERS, but so does Kopp. Will Lightning looks a bit far back. Is he going to be under threat from his teammate Martin Noble? Martin Noble's actually under threat from Sebastian Zervad. Doesn't choose to make a move. Zervad trying to recover after his spin in the first turn. Patrick Kiziel with good pace. We're on the last lap now. I don't know if we've had DRS enabled, but it looks like he will take the win here. He's got an 8/10 lead unless Vajra can pull a masterclass out the bag or Kiziel has a mistake. Will Lightning's now got 8/10 to Kopp. Martin Noble running behind him. The Alfa Romeos, sorry, have had a decent race today. They've recovered well from qualifying. They're into 6th and 7th. Patrick Kiziel has had a brilliant race today, qualifying, I believe it was P2. He's driven very well today. He's made the right strategy calls as he rounds the final corner, into the final sector. The penultimate corner, the last corner. Patrick Kiziel is going to win here in T2 at Hungary and boost himself in the championship. As he crosses the line, Patrick Kiziel wins, followed by Vajra. Patrick Kiziel edges him out this time. That's revenge from Silverstone. Vasiliev gets P3, the Ferrari reserve loaned out from Haas, gets P3. Jack King in McLaren, keeping himself in that championship fight with a P4 finish, followed by the Aston Martin of Kopp, who had a rough time of it today, gets into P5. Will Lightning in 6th, Sebastian Zerveld in 7th, Simon Sanner still 8th, Martin Noble driving excellently as well after struggling on those hards in his first stint, into 9th. So the Haas driver wins today. Of Kiziel, Vajra gave him his all. From toilet to P1. Vasiliev in game picks up driver of the day. I unfortunately can't trigger a vote right now. But if you want to let us know in chat who you think deserves it, there he is. Kiziel, Vajra, and Vasiliev, our podium finishers here at Hungary. A race of attrition. Xenius looked to have had this race in the bag but unfortunately a spin rendered him down the order on the first safety car, and he spun on the second safety car at restart. It was not his day today. After what looked like a solid win in the bag, he had the pace to do so. It's gone wrong for him. So now we will switch over to our interviews, and we'll wait for the drivers to head over. The Haas team principal is very happy. Max Housley. Xenius, understandably very angry. He looked to have the race in the bag, but unfortunately it wasn't to be today. Right, as we get some drivers heading in to the interview box, we will wait to see if our race winner Kiziel is in. We will try and get him up. We will get his team principal up as well.
Get Zervold up and Vasilev as well.
I will get Zervad up. We'll get Vasilev up in a minute. It was a brilliant race today from Haas.
Yeah.
You've had a great go of it, Kiziel. How was that race for you? You started remind us in P2, didn't you?
Yeah. Listen, I need to tell you a story. I got P2. I did one push lap, and I went toilet in the last 7 minutes, and I still got P2. So yeah, brilliant.
Still got P2. That is.
Yeah, and then I just tried to stay with the Red Bull ahead of me, and yeah, he was obviously too quick, but he made some mistakes, and I took the advantage of that, and I got P1.
Oh no!
It was commanding. It was commanding from here. You managed to stop. You managed to avoid the mistakes. Zerveld, you were running excellently as well. Do you want to describe what happened with the spin? Just unfortunate, or a slight
I didn't expect the Aston Martin to get oversteer, and I was right at the back of him. He went to the right, and then I wanted to avoid him.
Spin. So
yeah,
that's really unfortunate. But where did you recover to in the end? Did you
get P7 with fastest lap?
Okay, so P7 with fastest lap. That's another point on top of that as well. So I'm sure your team will be very happy. Happy with your performance today.
Bare dollar from that. Tier 2, we had no money, but now we have much money. Also, the fact that Vasilev got a podium, Haas reserve, for Ferrari, we get an extra bonus as well, apparently. The rusty guy said. King.
Well,
let's go.
So it was scary at the end, because Kiziel, he didn't notice it was the last lap to safety car. He had 74 degrees tyres, so scary.
Sounds like you guys have had a tough race, but you've driven very well, and you've taken it to finish first. So congratulations from all of you.
Yeah.
The only thing I found tough was wiping my ass because my ass is hairy.
Okay then. All right. Who finished in P2 today? If they're in here, we would love to get a word from you. I can't see them at the moment. Our P2 finisher was Vadrana. He isn't in here at the moment, but we will get Vasiliev up. He did finish on the podium in P3. Hello.
Canada. Hello.
Reserving for Haas. Reserving for Ferrari, sorry. And you've given them a podium. So I'm sure you're quite happy with that.
Yeah, I had a moment of my own when the McLaren guy Chrome spun me because he thought he was alone on the track. But okay, FIA will do its work. So yeah, P9 to P18 and P3. I think this is how it's done and showed what the reserve drivers can do.
Yeah, you've had a race all over the place, all over the grid today. So you've done excellently to get into that podium position. It was a tough race, a lot of people spinning, difficult strategy choices, I imagine.
Yeah, sure. But what can I say? Like the last safety car was quite a surprise. I didn't expect the game to register a safety car, but you live, you learn. It was interesting, but it was a nice race.
Yeah, well, well done. You made some good points there. Thanks for coming. All right, we will get Mr. Xenius up. He looked to be leading the race, looked on for a solid win, but it went down in the
Hello.
last moments. So hello.
Hello.
How was that? Some bad
Honestly,
fortune in the end, wasn't it?
yeah. Honestly, I wanted to take some fall on the game as well, but actually that was my fault. But the one thing I hate is when you can't heat up your rears, and then when you come up into that last corner, which is not a straight corner, actually, it's so difficult to not spin. And I did it 2 times, man,
Yeah,
just because I couldn't heat up.
we saw you
Yeah,
touch that inside curb on the first safety car restart, and it sent you into a spin, which was
yeah.
really unfortunate. But you managed to recover very well. But then the second safety car, did you do the same thing and you took your front wheel off?
Uh, no, I tried to take a wider line to get a better exit, and then I eventually just spun because there was literally no heat in my rear tires.
Oh, okay. So struggling with tyre wear. It's a difficult one. But up till then, you were looking like you had the race in the bag. So it's a
Oh,
shame from you, but I'm sure if you're racing next week, you've got another chance to make up those points.
yeah, of course. What's the next race?
The next race, I believe,
Yeah.
um, I shall have a quick check. It is Brazil, next
Oh,
week. A
okay.
favourite of yours or not so much?
It's like 50-50, but like, I don't know. Maybe I'm good there. I don't know.
Not the biggest fan then.
Yeah, probably.
All right.
But we'll see. We'll see.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
cheers for coming, dude.
Yeah. Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye. So if anyone else wants to hop up and have a word, then please do. Otherwise, we will call it there. Kister, do you want to give a word on your race? Martin? No? Oh, Martin does. Come on up
I
here.
I just want to say that the Mercs dirty drivers.
Okay.
Um,
Any reason for such?
Zogger murdered me and Kister in the first lap, and then Hannastad.
Hannastad had
Um,
a fair few spins this race. I think
I
it
was
wasn't his
alongside
race.
him. I was alongside him down the back straight. He's pushing me onto the grass, so you know, I do I yield off, come back on the power, wrap around him. He starts turning into me on the inside of a corner as well. Like he can't
Oh,
defend both sides. And then later on, he just decides to smash my wing off as well because he just doesn't pay attention to anyone else. So he's gonna get so many tickets on him. The Mercs are gonna get ticketed to hell, and yeah, have fun. I am tilted.
we will. Well, it was a tough race from you. I don't think it's just coming up, so we will wrap up there. Thank you very much for watching today. We will be back again on Friday at 7 p.m. BST for the Tier 1 race in Brazil, and then once again here live on Sunday at 5 p.m. For the Tier 2 race in Brazil. Until then, enjoy, and we'll see you on